sports, home of the Olympic Games, the Premier League, the PGA Tour, Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
This is Football Night in America, presented by Progressive.
Playoff football in Kansas City. It's a familiar sight for Chiefs fans. Their team won the AFC West for the 6th straight year. And Patrick Mahomes, he did have his struggles early on, but he and the team rallied to win 9 of their last 10 games, while Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers had to sweat it out last Sunday, but against every single odd, they're back in the playoffs. 2 classic franchises on a chilly evening in Arrowhead Stadium. There's nothing like it. And let's take a look at the entire playoff picture. Okay, so in the NFC, the Packers are sitting pretty with the 1 seed. And today we saw the Bucs cruise to a win over the Eagles. So they await to see who they host with that 2 seed. And we've got a 1-score game going on in Dallas right now. And one more wildcard game in the NFC to be played on Monday between the Cardinals and the Rams. Meanwhile, in the AFC, here are the scenarios. On the left, if the Steelers win, they will visit the top seed Titans next week. And Cincy will be at Buffalo. If the Chiefs win, then Cincy will head to Tennessee, and the Chiefs will host Buffalo in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Hello and welcome to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Chris Sims, and we are all keeping our eye on what's happening in Dallas, but we are so excited for this matchup between the Chiefs and the Steelers because we know the Chiefs are starting off their playoff dreams, hoping to make it to a 3rd straight Super Bowl. But I want to start with the Steelers. There's a familiar name that we know, Ben Roethlisberger making his 23rd career playoff start. But what would it take for the 7 seed to overtake the 2 seed in this one, Coach?
Well, I think Ben and that offense are going to need to make some big plays, and the Chiefs defense gives you that opportunity. A lot of bump and run coverage on the outside with those corners. Steelers are going to have to take some shots down the field, Chris.
Would agree with that totally. I mean, come on, he's a Hall of Fame coach, so of course I'm going to agree with that.
Yes.
But I think you look at that first matchup, the Chiefs played in the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They had a lot of people at the line of scrimmage to stop Najee Harris in the run game. I don't think you're going to be able to depend on that if you're the Steelers offense all night long. And then Coach and I look at the Steelers and go, man, they got 2 studs on the outside in Claypool and Deontay Johnson. And the Chiefs played bump, man-to-man coverage on them. They got to throw the ball down the field a little bit, open up the offense. They can't let the Chiefs defense just play so aggressive and downhill.
Yeah, when Ben sees that, it can't just be slants and hitches. He's got to take some shots and make some of those big plays.
Right.
Look, Big Ben, the 2-time Super Bowl champion, we thought maybe last week was his last stand. That was the 2nd to last stand. We'll see if he has another week in him against Kansas City. Okay, we got our guys that have been just traveling the nation. Jack Collinsworth, Rodney Harrison, Andrew Brees made the trip from Cincinnati all the way back to Arrowhead, and looks like they're staying warm. Good evening, fellas.
Maria, we had to get Drew's feet right back on that playoff grass, right where it belongs, Hot Rod.
Man, really excited about having my 2nd favorite quarterback behind Tom Brady right here next to me, Maria.
After that ride on Drew's bird last night, this is my favorite quarterback right here.
That's right.
Good to have you with us, man. Right. Hey, Mahomes, he played his best game against the Steelers defense a few weeks ago. What did you see from Mahomes in that first matchup?
I saw superior execution. He took what the defense gave him, a ton of underneath completions, and really it went to a lot of different guys. He didn't have his favorite target in Travis Kelce, so what'd he do? All this soft zone coverage, he found these completions underneath, ball coming out of his hands quickly. Receivers and running backs. Again, you feel the soft defense, everyone gained depth, hit the back out of the backfield for 10, 12, 15-yard gains. Sustain these drives, continue to move the ball, score points. And then when he had to beat Patrick Mahomes, he was Patrick Mahomes. Step up, sidearm throw, tight window throws. I think we're going to see more of that tonight.
But for me, the Steelers defense will have to win this game tonight. And this is the playoff, fellas, so you expect your best players to step up and play well. Cameron Hayward, T.J. Watt, they got to be great tonight.
Fellas, let's go on the field, presented by Progressive. And Drew, let's start with Travis Kelce. He missed that Week 16 game against Pittsburgh, but he's still playing like the best tight end in football. He has 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, let's be honest. This is Patrick Mahomes' favorite target. Last year in the playoffs, 3 games, Travis Kelce was over 100 yards in all 3 of those games. So you know when it's crunch time, you know when Patrick Mahomes needs to play, he's going to Travis Kelce.
I'm looking at Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I'm impressed with how well he's played in the run game. But also, he has to protect the deep part of the field. This secondary as a whole, they have to try to create a couple turnovers and play excellent in the red zone.
Yeah, and Freiermuth on the other side of the ball. Both these tight ends missed that first meeting. And Freiermuth, especially over the last few games, has become one of Big Ben's favorite targets. You saw that Ravens game last week, some critical third downs. Look for him to be a big target tonight.
Hey, look who's coming back as well. Juju Smith-Schuster. He hasn't played since week 5.
He came over here and hollered at us.
He is the personality of that offense, and he is active tonight.
He's ready. He's looking kind of thick, too.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Here's to the regulars. By Rocket Mortgage for the playbook on home loans. Rocket Can. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
Well, following week 8, the Steelers traded Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs for a 6th-round pick. And Ingram, he's been re-energized by this change of scenery. That Chiefs defense, they've been playing much better throughout the season. So, Rod, how have they turned this thing around?
I love the experience of the Chiefs defense. This defense has gone through some ups and downs, but they never panic. They continue to believe in one another. But I also like their secondary. I love their young corners. They're very competitive. They're not afraid to tackle you. And I love that Tyrann Mathieu. Great leader and very versatile player, Drew.
He's a pit bull. He can do everything. The one thing I worry about, though, with the Chiefs defense is against the run. They gave up almost 200 yards rushing last weekend against the Broncos. And those are the teams that give them the most problems. The Steelers could be that team today.
And we got some great pass rushes as well. Both sides of the football in this game. You got T.J. Watt. He just tied Michael Strahan for the most sacks in a single season. You're going to have to wreck this game tonight. And Coach Dungy caught up with Watt this week.
Who do you call when you need a big play? You call on T.J. Watt.
TJ, you played these guys in the regular season. How is this game going to be different, do you think?
There's definitely some things that we know we can build on from the last performance. Coach Tomlin always says the best defense is spend a lot of time on the bench. And that starts with getting off the field early, especially on those third downs, third and longs.
Let's talk about Coach Tomlin. Tell me a little bit about his role and how he kept things together.
I run through a wall for Coach Tomlin. He's a supreme motivator.
Don't let his quarterback get out of the pocket, particularly to his right.
Very transparent, going to tell you like it is, not going to sugarcoat anything, but you wouldn't want it any other way.
Everyone says to beat the Chiefs, you have to be able to pressure Mahomes without blitzing. Well, how does that make you feel going into a game where you know that a lot of it rests on you doing what you do best?
Yeah, I like to think that's why I'm here. I'm very fortunate to be able to be put in this position.
T.J. Watt has a sack. Unbelievable.
You have to have supreme confidence going into a game like this. It's a tough offense, don't get me wrong. It's a tough challenge. But if you don't want the challenge, then this isn't the business for you.
Time now to simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface. And T.J. Watt just basically said, if you're scared, then say you're scared. Okay? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers, they led the NFL in sacks with 55. But how can they be game wreckers in this matchup against Kansas City?
Well, Chris is going to show us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Do something here to knock Mahomes off kilter in this Chiefs offense.
And what Mike Tomlin did in the first game, his strategy was we're going to take away all of this deep part of the field and then let our two stars, T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, go to work on the pass rush.
Right.
But to do that, he's going to need a little help from Patrick Mahomes.
Need a little help, right? We see here, Mahomes, he got the easy 5-yard completion, but he decides he wants to step up and be a little greedy, Coach.
And if he's trying to throw this ball down the field, they'll take care of it. Now, what can T.J. and Cam Hayward do? Collapse that pocket. This is how they're going to have to do it. Can Patrick Mahomes be patient and take those short throws tonight?
It's one of the big things we've seen all year. It's kind of been the kryptonite of this Chiefs offense at times when things have faltered. Mahomes being a little greedy, maybe holds the ball, maybe has that ball out there again, strip sack, fumble, T.J. Watt, right? I think it's going to take a play or two of those tonight if Pittsburgh wants to pull off the upset.
But you mentioned yesterday that you want to see some calculated risks. Is that the expectation you have for Mike Tomlin?
100%. Again, if they can find ways, like even with the defensive alignment we just showed there, where you're not sure who's blitzing, who's coming, just to make Mahomes and the offense pause, think a little bit. Maybe it messes up the protection scheme and you get a guy free and you still got 7 guys back covering. That's when they can really put some pressure on this Chiefs offense.
And I think Mike is really going to be patient tonight. I think he might have seen your interview with Mahomes saying, I don't want to be a normal quarterback.
Yes. He said he's going to walk that fine line between being a normal quarterback and being himself, making the plays that we're used to seeing him make. But either way you slice it, One guy who doesn't want the game to be wrecked by TJ Watt would be offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs, because he's been in the mix for a head coaching job for a couple of years now. I want to welcome in Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk. And Mike, right now Mike Tomlin is the only black head coach in the league. There are 8 openings this season. Is now the time for Eric Bieniemy?
Well, there's a sense that the time has come for Eric Bieniemy. I've tried to find out why he's been held back in the past, and you'll hear people say from time to time that he doesn't interview well. I've heard that that's just not the case. He's done a great job with interviews, especially last year, even though he ultimately didn't get a job. The challenge is for the teams making these hires, the projection. Great coordinator, does that mean great head coach? It's such a different skill set, and no team has been ready to make the bet yet on Eric Bieniemy. But with 8 jobs this time around, the process is moving slowly, and there are plenty of people in the Chiefs organization who are getting the word out that this guy is ready. There's a thought that he finally will get that opportunity. Brian Flores already had an opportunity in Miami. He was surprisingly fired on Monday. Now he's lining up more and more opportunities all the time. Interviewed with the Bears and Texans, and I'm told the Giants are preparing to approach him about interviewing for their vacancy. He's committed to taking the process very slowly and making the right decision for his next NFL stop.
All right, thanks for the update, Mike. And let's just walk through the stats for Eric Bieniemy. Over the last 4 seasons since he's taken over the reins in 2018, Kansas City has simply led the NFL in scoring and total offense. And during the course of that time, Coach, there have been 20 head coaches hired, 20 opportunities. And I don't think anyone can look Eric Bieniemy in the eye and say, you haven't earned one opportunity.
Maria, it really reminds me of myself 30 years ago. I was a young defensive coordinator coordinating the #1 defense in football with the Vikings, and people were saying the same thing. He doesn't interview well. I was too soft-spoken, not a tough enough guy. Well, who knew if I was going to be a good head coach or not? But Malcolm Glazer and Rich McKay believed in me, and they gave me a chance. And that's what Eric Bieniemy needs. He needs somebody to give him a chance.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, they gave you a chance. It kind of worked out last time I checked. All right. And I mean, the #1 offense in football, AFC Championship game. #6 offense in football, win the Super Bowl. #1 offense, back to the Super Bowl. And then this year, #3 offense in football, help groom Patrick Mahomes. It makes no sense from that standpoint. He's from a really good coaching tree where we've seen people come from Andy Reid and be very successful. And what bothers me is there's been other coaches with lesser credentials who have gotten jobs, and I think that's where, you know, he deserves it. The time is now.
It takes me back to talking to a young African-American coach and him saying the goalpost is always moving. Eric Bieniemy is also universally liked, and we just hope that at some point he can actually get an opportunity. I know one thing, he's going to give a lot of opportunities to this guy. Tyreek Hill,
yes.
111 catches this season, 3rd in the NFL, but only 2 in Week 16 against Pitt. He wants a lot more this postseason. We'll see if he gets it going.
Simplified the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
All right, it's PointsBet's Pulse time. That's right, there's Darrell Williams, the Chiefs, their running game. Going to be key to their success, whether they want to get back to the Super Bowl. You see there, 60.5 yards, over, under. You know, you never know with the Chiefs. It's a little bit running back by committee. But this Steelers defense is not good at stopping the run. And the Chiefs can't let them get away with this. Playing these umbrella defenses where they're worried about taking away the big passes down the field. They got a lot of assets and a lot of good football players on the offensive line for this Kansas City Chiefs football team. They dominated the line of scrimmage the first time around. We talk a lot about Patrick Mahomes, him being patient as a decision maker at quarterback. Also, Andy Reid, be patient with the run game. Get some of those people to creep up, and now we can hit some of those big shots to Tyreek Hill. Now, the next thing to do, download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Maria, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, this game right here, it features the 2 youngest quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl. And this week, I had the pleasure to speak with Patrick Mahomes about facing Big Ben. What do you remember about watching Ben Roethlisberger growing up, maybe the impact he had on you as a youngster coming up playing football?
No, I mean, he's made a huge impact on me. The way he was able to scramble around and make those throws and just battle, I mean, to the very end of every single play. I mean, that's the reason he has 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's made some big-time throws that will be remembered forever.
Roethlisberger. Oh, for a touchdown! Unbelievable! Incredible!
What does it mean to you to potentially be taking part in what could be his last career game?
I don't think of it that way. I know he's going to battle. If you watched him this last week, he made some big-time throws at the end of the game to give him the chance to win the game. It's going to be a great battle for us, and I'm excited to get to go up against an all-time great in the playoffs.
Hands in the crowd, we tearing it down. Get loud for me.
When you're preparing for a Mike Tomlin-led defense, what do you know you're going to see on the field?
Yeah, when you have a defensive front like they do, they're going to have their opportunities during the game. It's about limiting those. It's about getting the ball into my hands quickly because you don't want to let that defensive line change the whole outcome of the game. That whole organization and their history, they have pride. I mean, they're going to come out fighting from the first snap on. We understand that they're coming in with a lot of momentum, and we're going to play our best football every single snap if we don't have a chance to move on to the next round. Let's go! We're preparing as best we can. We'll be ready to go. That's going to be a great football game.
Now, Patrick Mahomes was about 9 years old when Big Ben started in the league, but he has not played like a child since entering it. Remember in the first meeting, he threw for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Travis Kelce was not there. He was on the COVID list. That's almost frightening a little bit if you're a Steelers fan.
No doubt about it. We know that's the guy he wants to throw to, and especially the chemistry they have when Mahomes scrambles or buys time in the pocket. Like you'll see here in the game against the Chargers a little earlier this year, Mahomes in the pocket doesn't like to throw it on rhythm here. He's going to escape to his right, and him and Kelce just have an unbelievable ability to get on the same page and make those plays work.
Also, Andy and Bieniemy can move him around and get favorable mismatches, get him on a middle linebacker or get him in zone coverage. They'll do that a lot tonight, put him at that 3 spot.
I think that's something to watch out for, and that'll be a big difference from the first matchup, Maria. The fact that where, like Coach is saying, Reed and Bieniemy will be able to manipulate times where Kelce is going to be one-on-one against a middle linebacker, and of course that's advantage Chiefs and Mahomes and Kelce.
Well, Patrick Mahomes has thrown 8 playoff touchdowns to Travis Kelce. That's the most of any Chiefs player. That is the offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. Let's go back to Kansas City to hear more about Big Ben and the Steelers.
Maria, well, Big Ben just came over to say what's up to the fellas just seconds ago. And so how does Big Ben have to balance what he's able to do physically at this point with what he has to do to go beat Mahomes?
Well, there was a time when he was like Mahomes, running around out there, breaking tackles, making miraculous plays. Those days have maybe passed him by, but what he still can do is pick you apart underneath and push the ball down the field off the play action. But they're going to need to run the ball effectively to set up those big play action
And if
passes.
I'm Kansas City defensively, I'm coming out, I'm playing a lot of tight man-to-man coverage. I'm trying to take away all those quick, easy throws that he's so comfortable with and force him to throw in those tight windows for 4 quarters.
Najee Harris as well. He said Big Ben, he's been like a big brother to him. He told us that earlier this year. He said he showed him what it means to have the pride of a Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's our Sunday night, 7 night. How many total yards for Najee Harris?
Well, it can't be all Big Ben, so Najee Harris has to have a big night. So I'm thinking he's going to have 75 through 94 yards. He has to have a big night.
And with $1 million on the line, you can make your picks along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. All right, been some great football today. Brady and the Bucs, they were in complete control to start their push for a repeat. Plus the latest chapter of San Francisco and Dallas longtime rivals meet in the playoffs once again.
Having a chance to go back out there, I'm going to lost for words.
6 Super Bowls. It's all about survival. Back-to-back AFC champions.
Arguably the best team in football. We don't have a chance.
Touchdown! The Chiefs put the hammer down.
We're a double-digit underdog in the playoffs. Probably not a very good football team. So let's just go in and play and have fun.
Do something special. Are you ready? Let's go.
We are just moments away from kickoff between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City Chiefs. Remember, they played the day after Christmas. The Chiefs won 36-10, but now it's playoff time. It's win or go home and an opportunity to play in the divisional round. Let's see who's already made it there. Tampa Bay hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts making his first playoff appearance. Tom Brady been there before and looks like it, Coach.
Yes, dominant performance by the Bucs.
The Bucs were able to get the victory 31-15. They absolutely rolled. And taking a look here at the bracket, the 49ers have just won, just sealed the deal against Dallas. We'll show you exactly what happened there in a second. But meanwhile, we know that Tampa Bay will be hosting with that 2 seed. All right, it's time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. And we always start out with America's pick, Jack Collinsworth.
Well, Maria, 70% of the country is on the Chiefs. In Kansas City, they saw new challenges this year and got better because of it. It feels like Mahomes matured through it all, and I think you will see that tonight. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs, Rod.
I got nothing but respect for Mike Tomlin, Big Ben in his career, but there's no way, Drew, I could pick against all the experience of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going with Andy Reid and Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, we were standing right here while the Steelers were getting warmed up. They had some juice. They got everybody healthy. They're going to have the lead for the most of this game, but Arrowhead's going to take over. Chiefs are going to win this game.
We got to get you out here with us more often. Mike Florio, who you taking?
Hey, the Steelers have no business being here, just like back in 2005 when they had no business being in the playoffs. And Mike Tomlin, when I saw him speak to the media on Tuesday, he was so loose. He was so relaxed. It is terrible towel time. The Steelers advance. Big Ben's last ride.
Mike, I was not expecting that.
Wow.
We brought out the terrible towel and everything. He's going with the Steelers. I do not agree with you, though. A series of improbable wins. I don't think another one happens tonight. I'm going with Kansas City, Coach.
I'm 10 years as a Steeler, too. I'd like to see the Steelers win, but Kansas City, I think, too much offense, and I just don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to keep up with them.
I'm with you there, Coach, too. And Maria, you're wearing red, so you got to go with the Chiefs, okay? I mean, that's obvious. But, yes, I look at it the same way. The Chiefs just a little too explosive on offense. You know, the Steelers' defense not as dominant as we've seen in years past. And I just don't know about the Steelers' offense. Can they make enough plays to keep pace with Mahomes and company?
Okay, well, maybe Mike Florio will save us all from becoming a meme on Twitter.
Not.
Those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. All right, we just got the final in Dallas, and so now we get to show you the highlight. Let's do it, fellas. We go straight to the third quarter. 49ers leading 16-7. Deebo Samuel is going to take it 26 yards for a touchdown.
This is the Shanahan run game. I know Coach and I, the whole second half, were like, can they keep giving Deebo Samuel more of these runs? They're working.
He's only an all-pro receiver. No big deal. Fourth quarter, 49ers up 23-10. Jimmy G intercepted on this play.
Well, he just wanted to make sure we could keep talking about the storyline of can we trust Jimmy G here through the playoffs. So bad mistake with total control of the game here.
Suddenly, Dallas has life. Can the Cowboys capitalize? Yes, they can. Dak Prescott looking, he'll take it.
Undisciplined rush by the 49ers let a walk-in touchdown happen.
They cut the deficit to 6. Yes, kiss to the gods there. Under 2 minutes to go. Cowboys with the ball on the 6, 4th and 11. Prescott, desperation.
Oh, almost hits it. It was scary. Good job avoiding the blitz. The 49ers brought pressure, but protecting Prescott was an issue all game long against this 49er D-line.
Cedric Wilson just can't make the catch, and then Samuel takes it again. It's a toss. There he is.
Right. I mean, listen, they need to have more plays like this in the playbook. He is too special.
But he comes up just short. They would have to punt it, so one last chance for Dallas. Prescott using his legs.
Trying to get it in position, get up quickly and spike the ball. Just too dangerous to do that with 14 seconds left. Couldn't get it off.
Yes, look, he's trying, and as the clock winds down to 0, game over. Can't get the ball spiked. The ref calls it. Final score 23-17. Jimmy G and the 49ers, they get to advance, which means they're going to head to Green Bay. It'll be the second meeting of the season between Green Bay and the 49ers. Green Bay won it 30-28 in week 3. The Packers are the only team without a home loss so far this season. Meanwhile, we're still waiting on the results of tonight's game. For us, if the Steelers win, then they will head to Tennessee to take on the 1 seed, the Titans. If the Chiefs win, it's a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game against the Bills, and I'm pretty sure Josh Allen is still throwing touchdown passes in Orchard Park right now. Let's give the one thing that we're watching for in our matchup tonight as we close out a great triple-header playoff Sunday.
Well, I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs, and are they going to protect the football? I think that's the only way they lose tonight. If they get loose and casual with the ball and get some turnovers, that will allow Pittsburgh to have a chance.
Agreed with that. Like we broke down earlier, Mahomes, will he hold the ball in the pocket too long, get a strip sack? What I want to see them do is run the football a little bit. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to play these bend, don't break defenses, and people want to take away the big plays, I know Coach and I will be sitting there going, man, Chiefs, you got a really good offensive line. Please run it, and you'll get some of the looks you want to hit Tyreek deep down the field.
And the other side, Will Ben Roethlisberger be able to hit some shots down the field against those Kansas City corners?
Yeah, dink and dunk ain't going to get it done.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger starting in his 23rd career playoff game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs looking to start their playoff run and make it to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. We're about ready for kickoff at Arrowhead. The Steelers are looking to defy all odds again, while the Chiefs, obviously, they are starting their supercharged playoff run. Al, Chris, and Michelle have the call next. We will see you at halftime.
This has been Football Night in America, presented by Progressive. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes, or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Telemundo.